Our next guest had a blog that actually went viral after she wrote about her daughter being bullied for carrying a Star Wars bottle.
Now, Carrie Goldman has become a strong anti-bullying advocate, and she's written a book. It's called Bullied, What Every Parent, Teacher, and Kid Needs to Know About Ending the Cycle of Fear. Carrie, thanks so much for joining us
Thanks
this
for
morning.
having me.
And I was just talking about the fact that when I was a kid, I remember there may be one or two bullies, but it just seems like things have changed so much.
Things have changed. One of the things that I tell people is we don't have a same shared definition of what bullying is from our generation as far as kids today. Because when we were kids, there wasn't cyberbullying, and that changes everything. The same kids who are at risk of being bullied in person are now at risk of being cyberbullied. And so when you add in that level of constant 24-hour-a-day victimization, it's far more difficult for them to escape and feel okay.
They never get away from
They
it.
never
They
get
come
away.
home and they don't have a safe place because they're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all these things that I don't want my kids to have.
Well,
how do you do it?
Well, that's a great point you bring up, where you say these are things I don't want my kids to have. So many parents say, should we take away the technology? Quite frankly, as the children get older, taking away is not the answer either, because this is the reality of the world in which they live. And so much of their social world will take place through digital media. So the answer is teaching them how to be good digital citizens, teaching them that if you click like on something that's mean, you're not being a good digital citizen. If you retweet something that's mean, you're not being a good digital citizen. We need to teach them how to behave on the technology as opposed to just taking it away.
So what's the first step? I mean, we can say we need to teach them, but how do they really internalize it when they're surrounded by, you know, people that are they just get sucked into
They get sucked
machine.
in. My friend Annie Fox says that kids are peer approval addicts. So they're constantly trying to get their friends to approve of them.
How many likes?
Crafting this whole image. Some of it starts with modeling. A lot of parents are constantly on the Facebook and the Twitters and social media, and if parents don't set a good example, kids are going to pick up on that right away. So some of it is the modeling. Additionally, it's talking to kids from a very young age about being empathetic to those who are different from them in any way, different in weight, different in looks, different in bags that they carry or accessories they own, that it's okay for people not to all be conformed the same.
It seems to me that you're talking a lot about reinforcing values that we've lost as a society, and now it's in our face even more because we have this digital media. Can you talk about this concept of restorative justice?
Oh, sure. It's my favorite idea.
Hearing a lot at school about now.
Okay, so restorative justice is a way of responding to bullying, where instead of responding with punishment, instead of saying to the child who acts as the bully, you're being suspended, it's saying, no, we're going to do something more relative. We're going to have you try and repair the harm you did. Suspending a child doesn't do anything to help the child who is victimized, and it doesn't teach empathy or pro-social values to the child who is acting as a bully.
In fact, it can backfire on the victim, right?
It can backfire on everyone.
Then you're the kid that got them suspended.
Right, so there's that fear of retaliation. So instead, what we say is, in restorative justice, you take the two kids and, you know, in a trained restorative justice circle with a trained worker. This is not peer mediation, which doesn't work in bullying. This is restorative justice. It's a different situation. There's not the same power imbalance. You have the kids work, and the kid who did something mean is able to hear how it affected the person who was bullied. And together they come up with a reparation agreement, a way for the harm to be repaired. Let's say someone destroyed your lunchbox and threw out your food. In restorative justice, perhaps the reparation agreement would be that the kids would go together to target the kid who was acting as a bully, uses some of his lunch money or his allowance to help buy a new lunchbox. With the parents together, maybe they make their favorite foods and pack lunch together, and then the child who is bullying invites the other one to sit with him at lunch the next day.
Is it hard to get the parents on board, Carrie?
It's interesting you ask that. It's sometimes hard to get them in the door. Once people get in the door with restorative justice, it's very effective. But all you have to do is tell them, would you rather your child be suspended and have a permanent record of what happened, or go through restorative justice where nothing's on the record and you have this opportunity to try something that could really make a difference? Most parents don't want things on their kids' records.
quickly, how is your daughter doing?
My daughter's, she's still very self-conscious to this day, very self-conscious, but she is a big Star Wars fan still. She's had enormous support from the Star Wars community, and she is always learning to be true to who she is and like what she likes, even if it's different from other people.
Are these some of the things that your school has been supportive in doing for you?
Our school has been tremendous. One of the problems is that many schools are so terrified of the stigma of bullying that they duck their heads in the sand if they hear the word. In our school, the response was amazing. The school held a Proud to Be Me Day where they invite everyone to wear something or bring something that shows who they are. The school has already in place PBIS, which is great social emotional learning, and everyone's very open and willing to talk about things as opposed to saying that's not a problem in my school. And as a result, it really isn't much of a problem in our school because we acknowledge it as it goes.
And you're not bystanders, you're taking an active role.
We're acting as witnesses and allies.
Thank you so much,
You're
Carrie.
welcome.
Really important work.
Thank you.
Really important. Bullied.
Absolutely.
Get this book.
Right.
Please get this book.
It's called Bullied, What Every Parent, Teacher, and Kid Needs to Know About Ending the Cycle of Fear. You can learn more about it or about the author, Carrie Goldman, by going to her website, carriegoldmanauthor.com.